Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Calibree from CZT Nancy Domnauer. All right, this is a neat one. It sort of starts off like Fife, and that would be with a dot grid. And actually, I'm going to use a little bit larger pen to put some dots down, and I'm going to start. I'm just going to go diagonal. And what's kind of fun, trying to make them bigger than I think I should. So we're going to make a grid. I'm going on the diagonal. And so here's what's neat. I'm not going to worry about how I'm going to get it close. It's going to be good. I'm trying not to worry about it, because what I noticed in Nancy's sample is, it's not necessarily straight, and that's okay. It makes it kind of whimsical and just really neat looking. So don't worry so much about it. And actually, I was thinking about doing it kind of like the Tangle Munchin, and I might try that later, where you just put some dots around, so not necessarily in a grid, and then could do it. That could be really fun with this one too. All right. So after you have your dot grid down, now what I did it on the diagonal. I mean, you could do it, however you want it. You could do it straight. The way she has it on her step out, it's diagonal. And what's interesting is I used to this. Just a side note, this used to really throw me off. So if this throws you off, um, uh, know that you're not the only one. Because it was like, oh well, it's offset, so I would set out to like do this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, then put ones in the middle. But it's like if you just turn it, look at there's a nice straight-ish dot grid there, and then but you just I've turned it on, I've turned this straight, and look at voila. All right, and I think first I'm just gonna connect. I'm just going to connect the dots on the page, and then I'll worry about if I want to go outside of this and do little partials. I'll worry about that later. But this, like Fife, we're going to do seed shapes. So that's a curved line connecting the dots one way, curved line connecting the dots another way. Now in the step out, we start off with just kind of connecting one group of four so you can see, and I'm going to go ahead and do that here. But if you know how you want to, if you're going to just do this as a solid fill-in, you don't need to worry about it. And what's neat is if you work with your hand in that automatic curve, you can kind of get it pretty good where you're like generating a nice circle there. But again, don't worry about it if not. But essentially what we're going to do is we're connecting all of the dots just in a grid format. And so you could do this where you're just going, one direction, which is nice because then you're just focused on the one stroke at hand going in one direction, and you don't have to think about anything else. And then you can just flip and do it in the other direction. And I think since I've got some of these sticking out, I will probably go out, do take these off the paper. I'm trying to think of the right word. You'll know what I mean a little bit later. And so essentially, we're making a grid out of the seed shape. And the next step then is we're going to aura the inside. Moving my mic there and moving some things that are sliding around here. All right. And, you pick the distance. Try to keep with it. Okay. And I'm just going to aura these first, and then we'll do the next step. I believe, yes, I combined, these two steps on one in one box here. But sometimes things like this, and it just depends. We all work differently. I like to emphasize that because some of us also are cursed with, oh, I want to do this right. I want to do this right. I want to follow the directions. And to know that there, it's like, well, you could do it this way or you could do it that way. And just knowing how I am, it's silly. But sometimes it's like I need to have permission. It's like, and so this is me telling myself, all right, so you can do that all with just that aura. But then the next step is we're going to connect these ends. So I'm trying to be careful because for whatever reason, sometimes they just don't. I think it's when I'm going too fast and they just don't line up, and it shouldn't be too hard. So putting the pen right on that end, on that tip, and then just having it meet in the corner. It's also a good idea. Focus on, like one at a time. Sometimes I don't do that. I don't know why. And that way you ensure to get all of them. But, when you go back and you're doing shading and whatnot, you'll find them. And that's essentially it. But, I'm going to fill this out because I feel like it needs it. So what I would do is, let's see, let me look. Okay, I'm going to get these diagonals here, and then just continue as if. Well, actually, there could have been a dot right there, and then this one. And sometimes I like. Well, actually, sometimes a lot of times I like to do this. And if you're working, and you're doing we'll just call it, traditional style tangling, and you're filling in a section. Let's see, wait, this diagonal to here, and you have, a section you're filling in. This is nice because you can, do your dot grid. That's why I usually start in the center and then work my way out, so that way this looks natural, as if it is, something that was just cut out from the middle. Okay, so do I have all my diagonals going one direction? Yes. Now let's get them going the other direction. And this, sometimes you just have to kind of guess where, would there be something here? I'm going to say, yeah, maybe, probably right there. If it's there, then that would have that. And even doing that little bit of a line, it makes it convincing. That's the word that I like to use. And a lot of times I will wait until the majority is done, because then you get the whole gist of the pattern, and it kind of gets in your hand, so that makes it a little bit easier to do these partials. And then we'll just do the same thing. You're gonna aura the sections, and you just have to imagine, like here, where that point would be. And it's easy to take this point and just like that and just have it come straight out. But you just have to decide how much, like here, for that aura. Like I said, sometimes mine just don't want to line up. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is a fun challenge that I like to do. It's neat. All right, and then, so while I'm doing this, shading, you can do so many ways. Now, what was I think I was doing, like, I think I'm connecting the corners as I'm going, so I don't have to go back and find them. But shading, do take a look at Nancy's work. It's in the For More Inspiration link, so you can see some of her work and her step out as well. You can, gosh, yeah, there's so many ways you can decorate or shade this. I like that this part that we're auraing, I shaded that in my step out, and I thought, and that looks really, really neat. And you have to watch even these little corners. Yeah, you have to get all of them. You could shade in the center, either with graphite or, with the pen, or if you're wanting to say add color, you could use a color, use a graphite or not graphite, um, chalk pencil. Actually, you could use graphite. I haven't gotten these, but I've seen tinted graphite, and I feel like I saw one person that had used it, and it looked kind of neat. So, um, but yeah, so if you want to use color, you can of course do that. But so you have many options. Like I said, either the complete center, the part that we auraed here, or the initial seed part, or just leave it because it kind of looks neat as it is. And so what I end up doing is taking a look at what's sloppiest. Oh, and I see a place I missed. And then use that as my, well, maybe I can do something with that first, because then it'll cover it up, so like a course correction. And I think I'm going to do that again. And I'm just there's so many ways. But no, I'm gonna use this as a fill in. So I'm just putting graphite, and I'm not even really being careful. I'm just putting a little bit because I am gonna use the tortillon to spread it out. I don't want it to go real dark. But what's neat is when you're using it as a fill in, you don't have to be careful. The tortillon will just move it where it needs to go. And I do have another thought here as I'm doing this. And something like this too, and maybe I won't do all of these. Yeah, I think maybe I'll stop here because you can use what's left on your tortillon. This is a great time to, so use it a bit, then you can, well, because I have been using this as you can see. And then you can, fill some in. And then, go back and, okay, let's spread some more graphite. And like I said, every once in a while, it's just a good idea to do that. And why not use it in a pattern instead of, just wiping it off on something else? We'll use it. And you can see how that's kind of, let me dim this a smidge. Yeah, so you can see that contrast. Sometimes when it's too bright, it is hard to see. Especially like these little places right here when I see where I forgot. See, this is where you catch the little places you miss. Right here. Oh, and here I forgot a line. All right. And of course, you can go as dark as you want. If you want to do a gradient, and here's where my brain is going as I'm doing this. Still could do graphite in the seeds, and what I like to do on those is have it go darker, uh, towards the point, and then kind of make it shiny. All right, let's put some more graphite here. So it's good. Find a center and then work your way around it, because it's like I've gotten some that are half done here, and this one isn't so bad. Where you can sometimes some of these you can kind of you lose. Where was I? Wait, which part is that? Is that the part that I'm? Is that the orid part, or is that the first part? Just every once in a while, because as your eyes shift, the meta pattern, right, changes and moves, and it is just really, really neat. So, yep, I like that. And Hmm. You know what I'm just gonna do one, just because that would be kind of cool. And I'm gonna go extra dark. And let's see, we'll make this flower, and then maybe before. Well, you will have already seen it. Um, before I snap the picture for this, I will have decided if I'm gonna do all of them or not. Yeah, so you can see you can go both ways. You could even fill it in with the pen if you wish to. And yes, look at how shiny that is. All right, so one last bit. Feel free to redefine things if you need to. So, for instance, I made those initial dots kind of small, and you'll notice on Nancy's, some of them are big. It's uh, an open orb, so you can kind of have fun with that. But feel free afterwards, if need be, because I know mine get sloppy, and especially when they connect like this, and it's just like, okay, ew. It's like I'm not happy with that. So I'm just redefining it and making it a little bit bigger, as you can see. And it's okay to go right over that graphite, or if you're using chalk or colored pencil or whatever, you just would want to have like a scrap piece of paper or something to wipe it off this nib every so often, because you don't want to get it junked up with with that graphite, whatever you're going over. And look at how neat that looks, just by you know uh, just redefining those dots and making them a little bit bigger. So always feel, I mean, you can always go back and play with it. That's the fun. It really is. I don't know. I'm debating on whether I want to just keep that one the way it is. It's kind of neat just to have one, but we shall see. I'm going to ponder on it as I finish my work here. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, would love to have a thumbs up or a like. And if you feel free to share it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it would warm my heart if you decided that you liked this enough to see more. It helps me out a lot. The subscriptions and views and comments and all of that. So I appreciate all of those. In the description section, you will find links to the step outs, links to connect with me if you wish to. I think I have my website, and if you happen to be on Facebook, we have a great Tangle Addicts community there, and would love to have you join us. So the information is there. I do classes also, uh, almost twice a week. It just depends on the week. Every Thursday, unless there's an odd, something that I have to reschedule, which I've already done that. I don't think I have another one. Um, but on Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern uh, daylight time. I'm in Michigan, so of course that changes. I do a free class called Tangle Time, where we might take something like this and have a whole lot of fun with it. So I usually pick a tangle or two that we can do in an hour. And again, it's super great fun. So would love to have you join us. And information is on my website. Feel free to connect if you have trouble finding anything. And with that, thanks for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.